So 3 papers has been read. The first paper was nano-titanium carbide-induced refinement of aluminium 2024 by SLM from Liu in 2022, published in Material Science Engineering. And from what I saw, basically, they added up to 5 titanium carbide nanoparticles, this is very important, inside the mix with aluminium 2024. So it's aluminium copper based alloy of the series 2000. So it's quite interesting, but it's not exactly the same material as I use. So basically, what they observe the most is that by adding the nanoparticles up to even 5%, the more they were adding, the more they observe it. They observe this heteronucleation promoted by the addition of titanium carbide nanoparticles. So initially, it's proven that it could be that the titanium carbide can be site of nucleation, theoretically, but that's what not they found. They found actually that it's the process of dissolution and solidification of this titanium carbide that actually led to the formation of precipitation of this cubic phase of L12 aluminium 3 titanium. So this one is actually used mostly and found as a nucleating site. And not only with that, but also with lamellar aluminium 4 carbon 3. So aluminium 4 carbon 3 is very undesirable normally in casting, but in the case of selective laser melting, which is the process they use, it has a very high cooling rate as well, and therefore creating this aluminium 4 C3 lamellar, which is a big difference. So the addition of having this nucleation site of aluminium 3 titanium, the cubic phase, not the tetragonal phase, the cubic phase, the aluminium 4 silicon 3, and also the titanium carbide themselves as well, this induced the growth, so from the source of the cubic aluminium titanium 3, but also there is growth restriction because aluminium carbide and titanium carbide surround the grains and restrict their growth. That helps as well to have a very fine microstructure. So it's really this LPBF high cooling rate that are responsible for the creation of the nucleation sites. And really this addition of titanium carbide really induced a transition between columnar shape to grains to equiaxiated grains, and this improves a lot. So finer grain structure, equiaxiated grains reduce hot tracking, increase the strength. But what I want to see as well is that in my project, I don't use nanoparticle. I use microparticle of titanium carbide. I use very big particles in comparison to them, like 1,000 times bigger, like it's insanely bigger, because I want to look at the wear resistance properties. I don't want to make a new in situ alloy. I want to use the titanium carbide for the wear resistance and for the hardness for break this. I want to have this composite fully. I want to see if I can also form this seed of cubic aluminium 3 titanium as well, using microparticles of titanium carbide, not nano. Also, I want to see if the high cooling rate of high-speed laser cladding, which is the technique I use, would also induce this creation of this aluminium 3 titanium, because the cooling rates are quite similar, so I should see the same thing happening. And also something that I saw in this paper, that there is no specific position in the matrix. We don't know if actually at the bottom of the track, because it's LPBF, so they make cubes and not just one layer of coating. We don't know where we are in the coating, where we are in the piece. Are we at the bottom of the melt pool, the top of the melt pool, the side of the melt pool? We don't know this. And that's something I want to know for my paper, where I am, because of course the cooling rate are different if you're in the middle of the melt pool, or if you're at the side of the melt pool, or if you're behind or on top. You don't have the same time under the laser. It's not doing the same thing. So that's what I found. For the second paper, it's really about the microstructure of titanium carbide in Inconel by high-speed laser cladding. So at least now it's the same technique, but it's not the same materials. And what they saw as well is that there is also this transition of cellular or columnar grains to equiaxiate grains. But with high-speed laser cladding, they also have dendritic refinement, and only with high-speed laser cladding. So the high cooling rates refine as well, the structures. They made this growth against speed ratio, and what they saw is that this ratio tends to decrease, and also at the same time, the faster you go, the ratio growth against speed is decreasing, and also the secondary dead within arms spacing too. So that means that the faster you go, the smaller the dendrites will be, and also the smaller the microstructure will be, which is very interesting. And so what they're saying is that the increase of titanium carbide inside the material will also increase, of course, the titanium and carbide atoms themselves, and this promotes the formation of carbides between the grains at high cooling rates, and it will also strengthen the alloys. So that's something we want as well. But from what I see, first, it's not the same materials, but it's the same process, so that's good. It's only 4% of titanium carbide. In my case, I use 30% of titanium carbide, and again, they use nano. I use micro again. Also, they have this vertical placing in the melt pool because it's just one layer, it's just one coating, but they don't tell us about the side. So I don't know if I should just keep it to vertical placing as they did at the boundaries, at the top and the middle of the melt pool, or if I should look at well on the side. But the problem is there is also this hatch, and that's a bit tricky to see. So this is something to discuss, but I think at least we know where we are in the melt pool with them. And so, of course, they're very different materials. So let's see if, they don't observe the same seed. Of course, they're not going to observe the aluminum titanium seeds, but there is a possibility of using Ella and this growth rate ratio plots and trying to find where I can put my alloys there. And the last paper is really titanium and titanium carbide microstructure in aluminium, silicium, magnesium. It's something I'm very interested in because it's the exact same material I'm using, except that they use actually titanium particles with titanium carbide nanoparticles around. So again, it's nanoparticles. And they use a 1:1 ratio of titanium carbide, and it's only 2 weight%. Again, I use micro particles of titanium carbide, 30 volume%. I don't find for the moment anything related to microstructure. So I need to find something maybe more in the wear resistance world. So I need a paper at least if there is people using macro titanium carbide. Or if they're not, it's me. I'm going to do this. Also, what they do is that they do this pre-alloying by ball milling all these elements together. But they don't really perform themselves in situ alloying, because that's what I actually want to do by having titanium carbide and aluminum silicium magnesium mixed together, and then under the laser to have this in situ alloying and this creation of this specific aluminum 3 titanium cubic little seeds I want to do. And of course, then they use selective laser melting, and I think that using very high cooling rate processes, has been the cladding or SLM, could actually help a lot to actually make this in situ alloying. And again, since it's selective laser melting, we don't know where they are into the melt pool. So that would be. Then I have this research question, but I split it in two because I'm struggling to make it in one. Basically, get the breakdown of titanium carbide microparticles under high-speed laser cladding process. Can you just in situ alloying leading grain refinement of the aluminum matrix? I think it's a very good question. And does the position of the melt pool change the microstructure locally? So I think I will put these two questions in ChatGPT to try to have something that came out. Let's look at this under chat. Where is Chrome? Under ChatGPT. And to try to ask him to make me one question out of this. Because I'm really struggling now to make a question because I read everything and I want to be done with that. Research question. Okay, well, I hope it's fine. So I'm done. Thank you very much for the people. This one person that I don't know. Who are you? Where are you? Were you a Juvel? Oh, it was just me somehow. I don't know. Goodbye.